It's coming here. Welcome back to Langrisser M news from the future. So alright, it is, as you can see from the picture right now, this is our third coming of our LLR hero, and it is none other than, well, lots of fans wanted, I guess, LLR Papa Vargas, and this is his artwork. However, just in my own opinion, instead of LLR, I think in fact he should originally be an SP hero. And don't worry, as we dig deeper later on, I will explain my reason on why I feel he should be an SP instead of LLR. But alright, before we carry on, a very great thanks for your attention, shared and provided by the Langrisser mobile app, Soyu. And as usual, the video will be split into three parts. The first part will be talking a little bit and background of Vargas and his voice actor behind the characters. And part 2 will be going through on the exclusive skills 3C, and last but not least, the pros and cons and ways to abuse him in both PvP, PvE, and also his item views. And are you guys ready? Let's get started. So alright, and SP Vargas is voiced by, and correction, he should be called LLR Dragon Slayer. So as you can see, his name, oops, so yep, the official name given for him is Dragon Slayer. He is voiced by none other than Mr. Tsuguo Mogami-san, and who has previously been voicing, ta-da! So for all of you guys who might not be familiar with games, you may not know, but however, if you are some of the earliest 90s to 20s, I guess, you might know who this character on the left is. And to my surprise, I thought this is Ryuji Yamazaki from King of Fighters series. And to my surprise, initially I thought Papa Vargas' voice line, if anyone that he should be voicing in KOF, King of Fighters, it should be either Goro Daimon, the slammer characters from the original protagonist team, and if not, is from the King of Fighter 99 series, Maximov from the K- team. So the voice line actually sounds much similar to Vargas. So to my surprise, he actually voiced as this cool, weird characters. Like, in case you guys don't get what I mean, feel free to like YouTube this characters from KOF. You see how he cast his skills in the game. It's just like some weird crazy shit. Then on the right we have Shingeki no Kyojin, and he voiced this characters, the trainer Mr. Geese Shadias. And again, yep, totally did not expect that. Another thing that they did not show is that aside from Ryuji Yamazaki, he also voiced at Rugal Bernstein from the King of Fighter, which is a boss characters. So yep, he voiced two characters from the game itself. So yep, this is gonna be quick now. LLR Vargas, so his backstory. So just going to do a rough translation. Just so when the flame dragon roar, has been silenced, the scarlet red flag has been burned to ashes. The story that belongs to Vargas has come to a close. However, at the same time, the door linked to the other side, where the chaos of darkness are, has sent out an invitation to this heroic soul. When the Scarlet Dragon's flame has burned all, he will bear the burden of this dark prison, encasing of sins and blood, while stepping on his trip to his way home. So, okay, this is his back end story, and of course this is just a little bit of rough translation, so it may not sound right or consistent. So what they're trying to say here, actually, unlike the two previous LLR heroine, Ice Queen Imelda, and also the Bright Summoner Chris, so they are actually from another dimensions or timeline of the Langrisser universe. However, this LLR Vargas that we are given in this version of meta is the original, based on what they have explained here, is the original Langrisser 2 Vargas, who bears the Scarlet Dragon crest under the Emperor's Bernhard Empire. So what is explained here is after his death, which, well, apparently he lost to Alwyn in a battle and his team. So after he died, his flag, the way they describe is kind of more poetic. The Scarlet Dragon flag has been burned to ashes. It means his flame is put out. His life has come to an end. However, also as a warrior, definitely in life they have definitely probably battled and killed someone. So after his death, the force of chaos reached out to him, and the way they describe is apparently, well, he kind of, well, went to hell for some reason, and apparently after accepting the power from chaos, he came back. So he shall bear the burden of the sins and blood in his hand of this dark prison, while stepping on this journey to way back home. And what they're describing here is apparently after his death, he is given a chance to be revived or resurrect as a stronger version of himself, and the reason he do that is to go back home, or the path to home. And well, you might have guessed it, this description here is talking about Vargas coming back for his, well, daughter and wife, and in this case only daughter, because if I'm not wrong, the wife should have been dead after Amelia's grow up, based on Langrisser second year story that we have played on one of the events. So yep, and this is why I am strongly suggesting that this is a SP hero story instead, because this is very similar to SP Leon and SP Vargas. And on their Gate of Fates, they are apparently kind of like trapped in like a hell dimension until Goddess Luceris give them a chance to redeem, themselves. And there's the same case for Vargas. However, in this version, the one reaching out to him is the Force of Chaos, and he's coming back for the sake of his daughter Emilia, and we will find out more as we go, and also during the actual demo play and sharing some of the storyline with you if there is any more disclosure about it. Okay, so this is his own character's descriptions about his death and rebirth. So it says holding to what he believed most without regret and fight to his last moment. And he has followed the blue dragon and the conqueror steps into the darkness of hell. He says unyielding will push him to move on in the path of chaos. Finally, the power of Scarlet Dragon has been reformed and rebuilt his blood and bone. The Destroyer, aka the Dragon Slayers, has been reborn from amidst the chaos prison. So okay, roughly, so the first two lines talks about, sorry for my translation again, it's a rough translations. I don't use any app. I just translate it based on what I know from Chinese and translate. So the first two lines is talking about till the moment he died in his battle with Elwyn and Cole, he does not regret, and he regrets about his belief and faith on his life, and also believing in Vargas and Leon. So the second line talk about he followed their steps to hell, because in here it states as green dragon. So apparently this is a mistranslation from the Japan side, because in Japan when they write this green dragon, what actually means blue. So Leon is a blue dragon, and here is right, Hasha is a conqueror, and this is referring to Bernhard following their footsteps to hell, and this is describing about what they have experienced in their gate of fate. And however, he does not give up even in the path of chaos. He marched on, and finally because his embodiment of his color in the storyline is red flame, he's known as a red flame dragon. So his red flame power or scarlet flame power helped reconstruct his bones and blood, and he has been reborn and rebirthed as the Dragon Slayers. So this is basically a storyline that has previously given for characters like SP Leon and Bernhard. This is basically for SP characters. I do not know I roughly know why they make him as a LLR, because his 3C is already released as his SR characters. I mean, Zilong probably don't want to give him another extra 3C, so to give an authentic reason to do that, they have to reconstruct him as a new character. I feel it's alright. It's a very cool storyline they gave this character. It's just I prefer that maybe they gave him another storyline. They should have like done a SP Vargas and then another LLR Vargas, really from another timeline. I mean, it's a cool idea to have like a banner where we're gonna have like a hero getting a benefit of both SP form and an LLR form. It's gonna be like way cooler, but that's just an opinion. And of course, we have come to the end of the sections, and before that we will hear his voice pack before we go on to his character's talent, skills, and 3C, and watch to the end for the translation I've done for you guys. And here we go.
破壊者になるというのは今までにない体験だった。無数の屍と血の海を越えて今お前の前に立つのは遠流の名のもとに栄光を求める戦士に変わりない。
Okay, some slight difference in the Chinese word reading and compared to what he's saying in Japanese. So okay, let's listen to it again.
破壊者になるというのは今までにない体験だった。無数の屍と血の海を越えて今お前の前に立つのは遠流の名のもとに栄光を求める戦士に変わりない。
Oh, okay, I guess they are a little sensitive about the description of corpse and bodies count. So but of course it may be the wonder of Chinese word. They're trying to make it more poetic in this part. So what he's saying here is Dragon Slayer, that is a new experience and entry. However, the one currently standing currently stepping uncountable bones and sea of blood in front of you, I am still the Flame Knight, the warrior that has been swear loyalty to glory. However, from the phrase is more of Dragon Slayers, that is a new experience or a new entry to his life. However, the one standing in front of you who has stepped upon corpse, lots of corpse and blood and bones, is still the warrior who swore loyalty to glory, known as the Flaming Knight, Vargas. So just a little bit of difference, but of course it may be the feelings they're trying to bring out to fans. And that's it. So alright, we have come to the end for part 1, and now everyone's waiting for part 2, the talents, skills, and 3C. Here we go. So alright, we have come to part 2, where we'll be going through the talent, skills, and 3C. However, before we carry on this time around, I probably did add in a little more even further back-end story expansions about how he become what he is now. So okay, the Dragon Slayer is the character description. So here it has a bigger breakdown. So of course, if you are bored of this part, you can fast forward. However, if you're interested, feel free to hear me out. So alright, the chaos that we are talking about, it's not from the evil chaos we are talking about, I suppose, because what they hear is Vargas, in order to protect his comrades, battled till the last moment, even having the determination to perish together with his opponent, and went into the purgatory, aka hell, and he's being trapped there. And before he almost fully, vaporized, perish, his soul kind of, they did not say the word soul, however it kind of like he kind of like disappeared. Before he disappeared, the Chaos Dragon King make a promise to assist him and make use of the flame dragon power to construct his body and let him to break out of the prison, to step on his journey to search for his old comrade and path of battle. Despite being affected by the negative intention from chaos, the evil intention of chaos, the dragon slayers is still being gentle and nice to the family that appeared in his thoughts. And in this part, it further imply to us that he might be slightly changed. However, the one that is still keeping him as what we know as the entity Vargas is thanks to his thoughts of his family. I guess in family here is referring to two sides. One is the first one being his daughter Amelia. The second is referring to the family of his empire that he saw loyalty to: Vargas, Imelda, Leon, and Egbert. Yeah, and of course the rest of his comrades, which he sees them as his family. And other than that, the rest might be enemies. And okay, that's it. And we are now finally going through, and here we go. So okay, his faction for Vargas is Empire, Darkness, and Yellows. So this is a 3 faction he's holding on to. And currently for Empire faction wise, the only one is Bernhard kind of drop out of meta. Only one left is the healer Rose and Seals. Then Darkness, aka Chaos. Currently our 3C for Darkness faction buff has not been released yet, so there might be chance. Then last is Yellows. Yellows, we have Enya providing the 3C. So in the current meta, the one that he can go combo with is Enya. However, a great small news about Vargas is that he kind of is a faction buffer for himself only, kind of similar to Emperor Tyrant Tail. We'll find out more. And alright, this is his talent. So this is his talent at rank 6. Okay, roughly translated as the Endless Rage. The effects are as follow. Number 1, unit class disadvantage roll is reversed. Number 2, damage received is reduced by 30%. 3, if any unit die 3 blocks around you, you will obtain Furious buff. Okay, the Furious buff have this following effect. First, when receiving a death blow, you will not die. Second, reduce the buff turn count of this effect by -1 turn. Third, reduce hero's max HP value by 15%. Fourth, revive HP value 2 before receiving the damage. Fifth, if enemy enter 3 blocks around you, they will receive an attack that will go into battle with you once that cannot be got. 6, the effect lasts for 2 turns and cannot be dispelled. Number 4, when unit HP is lower than enemies, you will recover 30% of the damage due to your HP. Number 5, when your unit HP is higher than enemies, you will attack first. And that's it for Vargas, and he is officially the first new third gimmick introduced for class advantage row. The first being the original. There will be class advantage and disadvantages. Like infantry will have advantage against Lancer, and Lancer is having disadvantage against infantry. Then upon the release from Zaridas 2.0, aka the Sword of Light and Shadow, her ability should introduce ignore class disadvantages. So any class she fought against will be neutral damage, so there's no advantage, no disadvantage. And with the introduction of LLR Vargas, we now have class disadvantages role reverse. So there's a third tier, which is, they call it the even higher tier, meaning you will got to discard of your original thoughts that you know about class advantages in the original Langrisser world. In this case, if Vargas is a demon class, originally he should be weak against holy class, receiving the 1.8 times extra damage from holy. In this case, it will be reversed. For Vargas' case, for Dragon Slayer's Vargas, if he is demon class fighting against holy class will be at disadvantages. The role reverse, when he normal attack them, he will has a 1.8 time attack increment or damage increment benefit against holy units. And this is what they mean by role reverse. And it's pretty great that another gimmick is he has this transformation skill. It's kind of like Gintama collaboration. So as long as however, it's not a global range. It's as long as any unit, allies, enemies, or summon unit, as long as any unit die 3 blocks around you, you will straight away enter into this furious buff mode, where you will not die upon receiving death blow. However, each time you die, the buff turn of this effect will be reduced by 1 turn. Then every time you revive, your HP value will be reduced by 15%. This is like the 3C effect of the original Vargas. So each time he resurrects, his max HP value will be reduced. And the great thing about his revival is this is taken from Ladin with exclusive. So every time you revive back to the HP value before you receive damage, meaning if you're at 100% HP value before you receive this damage, after you revive, you'll be back at 100%. So it's not your usual 50% only as of the default playing style. Of course, there will be some gimmick that will cause this thing to change. We will find out later on at part 3. Then not to mention that once you're in this furious buff mode, if enemies enter 3 blocks around you, they will be forced to go into battle with you once, and this battle cannot be got. Okay, so if anyone dares to enter 3 blocks around you, they will receive an attack from Vargas, and this will trigger items effect like frost armor, or if you are able to equip item like Ragnarok, yes, Ragnarok will trigger the fixed damage ones before battle. And last but not least, you have this if your unit HP is lower than the enemy that you battle with, after battle you recover 30% of the damage that you do. This is pretty cool. You have this self-sustainability, whereas if your HP is higher than enemies, you will get to attack them first. So either way, this is pretty cool, and it's pretty strong. So okay, now you can see apparently he has demon class and he also have flyer class. Okay, however, we will talk about that on part 3 or next part of or during the demo play. Alright, this is his exclusive skill 1, known as Dragon's Contempt. It's a 2C skill, has a CD of 2 turn. The range is self-targeting. The AoE type is single target. It has both passive and active. Okay, let's go through the passive effect first. Number 1, guard or incoming attack for allies 1 block around you. Number 2, crit rate you receive are reduced by 30%. Number 3, you're immune to position shifting effect. Active skills. Number 1, you will be able to counter 2 blocks range attack. 2, add 20% of defense to your attack. Number 3, increase your guard range to 2 blocks. Number 4, when you're in furious mode or when you have the furious buff, you will increase your guard range by +1. Number 5, this whole effect lasts for 3 turns. So basically this is an infinity loop of guard skills. These skills will not like halfway there is a breaking point where you're not able to guard 2 blocks allies. You got to there's no empty period, we call it, because the CD of this skill is 2 turns and this guard effect lasts for 3 turns, so you can just go for loop. So the passive is pretty cool. The passive guard, and not to mention he has this Landis aura about reducing crit rate by 30%, so it greatly reduces the chance of enemies able to crit and one-shot you. And third is that he's immune to position shifting effect. Then his active skills is he's able to counter 2 range blocks attack. Not too great, it's just normal at this point. However, his guard range is increased to 2 blocks. However, when he's in furious mode or he has the furious buff, you increase his guard range to 3 because give you a +1. And not to mention he's adding 20% of his defense to his attack, so not too bad, I guess. So that's all for exclusive skill 1. Is a very upgrade and decent guard skills. The only downside is the great side is he's able to guard off any types of attack, magic or physical. The downside is the guard range is still 2 to 3 blocks, and the most he can counter is only 2 blocks of range attack. That's all. Okay, next we have exclusive skill 2. It's known as Burning Soul Blood Rage. It's a 1C skill, has a CD of 3 turns. The range is self-targeting. The AoE type is support single target, and again it has both passive and active effect. Okay, passive effect. Number 1, when receiving death blow, you will not die and will be revived with 50% HP. Number 2, this effect can only be triggered once per battle. Active skills. Number 1, increase offensive and defensive stats for 2 turns and gain furious mode or furious buff. Number 2, if you're already in furious mode when using these skills, you can move 3 blocks and attack again. So this is definitely a great skill because the passive skill give you a free auto revive, 50% revive. The usual stuff can only be triggered once per battle. However, the active skills is the one I'm talking about, the self faction buff. Increase both his offensive and defensive stats for 2 turns. Do take note, it's only for 2 turns. However, there is a catch to it, and we're coming to his 3C later on. Then you gain this furious mode. So however, if you're already in Furious mode when you use these skills, instead of just ending your turn, these skills will become act again skills. You'll be able to move 3 blocks and attack again. So this is pretty good, pretty great. And for his 3C, great news is not 1 but 2 type of 3C effects. Okay, and we'll be talking about the first 3C skills first. Okay, the first 3C skill name is known as Sky Breaking Berserk Dragon. There's a CD of 2 turns, the range is 3 blocks, the AoE type is physical, 3 blocks. The effects are as follow. There is only active skills, no passive. The effects are as follow. Number 1, choose a block in a straight line direction and the effect will kick in at the start of next turn. Then at the start of next turn you will obtain both Furious mode and go into Dragon's Fury mode, or some of you may call it Dragonaut mode. Okay, so apparently this time around you can go into 2. So the first one I'm going to call more towards Furious buff, and then he transformed into Dragon's Fury mode, DF, which we will call in short. Number 2, these 3C skills will be then changed into Hellfire's domain. Okay, it will give you the following. First, increase damage deal by 30%. Second, when you end turn, buff turn count will not be reduced. Third, teleport to the mark block and deal 0.3 times AoE damage to enemies 3 blocks around you. Number 3, when you are already in Furious buff mode, when number 2 happens, you can move again based on your remaining mobility. So do note that Dragon's Fury mode effect cannot be immune nor dispel, and will disappear together with Furious state buff effect. Okay, before we go on to the Hellfire's domain effect, so a few things to go through. So okay, this 3C is kind of similar to older hero from the Langrisser Reincarnation faction, the one also voiced by Zeridas. She's the archer. Her 3C is to cast and mark an area, whereas 2 turns later the mark area will explode. So yep, the drunk lady. So also voiced by Zeridas. So okay, how it works is you will target a straight line direction. Any the range is only 3 blocks. Any 3 blocks range, you target that area. You're gonna mark that area. Then you will cast an illusional Dragon Slayer figure there to show that it's marked. Then under normal situation, after you mark the next turn, when the second turn start and kicks in, the following turn starts and kicks in, you will automatically cast this 3C AoE skills and blast and deal 0.3 times AoE to the enemy's 3 blocks, standing 3 blocks around you. Then you will gain both the Furious buff and also go into your DF mode, Dragon's Fury mode, and afterwards this 3C will be changed to, they will morph into the Hellfire's domain 3C. So Upon casting at the same time, you also gain the buff effect, damage increase deal by 30%. Then not to mention the craziest stuff of all is when you are in this mode, the buff turn count that you have will not be reduced. Any buff turn you had will not be reduced. They will just keep sticking on with you until the buff effect loses itself, disappeared. So which is we're talking about the Dragon's Fury effect cannot be immune or nor dispel. However, it will be disappeared together with the Furious State buff. So how long it lasts depends on your Furious buff states, the Furious buff turn count. As long as you have your Furious buff turn count, you remain in your Dragon's Fury mode, and this means that all your buff turn count will not be reduced. It will stay as long as it can. So how crazy is it? And then second, we're finally coming to his second 3C. It's pretty long. Hellfire's Domain. I guess the English version is going to call it Fiendfire's Domain, but okay, he is like Gojo Satu Ryo Iki Tekai Jigoku Ryokaku. Yeah, I guess gonna go with that. Oh no, okay, he said fire. That is like that unhate, the Cyclops unhate. That is a cursed object. Jogo, yep. He has this fire domain effect. Yeah. Okay, Hellfire's Domain has a CD of 5 turn. The range is 1 block. The AoE type is physical single target. It has both. It has not both, but 3 types of abilities. Yep, 3 types of ability: passive, command aura, and active skills. So okay, we'll be going through the passive first. Number 1, fixed damage you receive will turn into healing instead. This does not this exclude fixed damage effects that cannot be immune. Number 2, after battle, all damage skills CD will be reduced by -1. Hey, this is pretty cool. Now you don't have to bring, in most situations you don't have to bring Bracer, because for Vargas, any fixed damage that your enemies deal to you will instead heals you. However, that does not include ability that you cannot be immune. Like one example would be characters like Betty. Betty's fixed damage abilities cannot be immune. So any fixed damage that you must take and cannot be immune cannot be converted to healing instead. Then number 2 is after battle, as long as you're going to battle, all damage skills CD will be reduced by 1. And this means that it can, if I'm not wrong, it should be able to stack with his Furious buff mode, as long as any enemies that dare to enter 3 blocks around you will be forced to go into battle once with you, and as long as they go into battle with you, it will trigger this effect. That's pretty cool. And next up is Command Aura ability. The effect are as follows. Number 1, enemies 3 blocks around you cannot trigger Move Again effect. Number 2, when enemies move out of the Command Aura range, they will consume additional 1 mobility. Okay, so this Command Aura is a 3 blocks Command Aura range. So enemies who are 3 blocks around you, they cannot trigger Move Again. This is taken from Lander's 3C, where it's not enemy cannot act again, it's just enemy cannot move again. Like after characters like Leon, after he come and attack, if he decided to retreat after the attack, he will not be able to. Then second is enemies who try to move out of the common aura range, they need to consume additional 1 mobility to do that. This will try to ensure in more, if not most situations, that enemies will stay close to Vargas and will receive the Justice Punch attack from him. And last but not least, active skills. The effects are as follows. It includes both PvE and PvP ability. Number 1, attack and deal 1.7 times damage to target enemy. Number 2, PvP ability. Disable all target enemies' equipment's effect for 2 turns. This excludes HP value and this effect cannot be dispelled. Number 3, PvE. Reduce enemy stats by 30% for 2 turns and cannot be dispelled. Number 4, PvP ability. After battle, you will obtain all targets enemies equipment effect for 2 turns. The following are what you can obtain up to. First, each part of the equipment you can only obtain max 2 types of effect. Second, you are unable to obtain HP value increment effect. 5. PvE. Increase your own stats by 30% for 2 turns. So this is one of the current more, if not the most OP ability given to a new characters. Okay, this is definitely a super upgraded sword. So except for the no healing and passive disabling ability, however, in this case, you will be able to steal enemies' equipment effect, all of the equipment, and each item you can steal up to 2 only. And if this is not PvP, in PvE wise, you will be increasing your own stats by 30% and decreasing enemy stats by 30% for 2 turns. So not too bad. He is a character that can be used for both PvP and PvE. So 1.7 times of damage, not too shabby. And talking about PvP ability, so what happened is you will disable the target enemy's equipment's effect for 2 turns, excluding HP value, and cannot be dispelled. This is taken from the Gintama collaboration effect. Okay, however, afterwards you will obtain all their equipment effect, and each part can only obtain max 2 types. So for example, enemies, let's just give an example, exclusive item. Let's say the exclusive item has ability like number 1, heal allies based on your intelligence when you enter. Number 2, give a common aura to allies standing 2 blocks around you, will have attack intelligence increased by 10%. And number 3, immune to position shifting and leg breaking effect. So if the equipment provide you this 3 ability, you will obtain 2 out of the 3 effect. And if the effect have those like increase HP by 5%, 10%, no, you will not be gaining that. So okay, it's not too bad. You gain this ability. So meaning currently you're holding 8 sets of equipment for yourself. Yep, you steal their abilities and at the same time giving them debuff. That's pretty cool. Then PvE wise is just straightforward. Increase your own stats by 30%, excluding HP, and decreasing enemy stats by 30%, excluding the HP for 2 turns. That's pretty strong and crazy in my opinion. And with that, we've come to the end for the skills effect. And we're going on to part 3, talking about the pros and cons. And again, I gotta say, watch to the end for the effect I've done for you guys, the translations. And again, this is art done by Mao Xiao to Liana Granda Curry for the LLR Papa Vargas, aka the Dragon Slayers of the characters. So alright, we are now at part 3 of the video. Very great thanks to information shared and provided by the Langrisser Data Bank, 梦幻模拟站资料库. And on this part, we'll be talking or showcasing to you guys the calculations of role reverse of class disadvantages, and also about how to abuse Papa Vargas. And this is artwork, as you can see, and a lot of fans has been talking about his default skin looks like Mike Tyson, and also because of a tattoo he had, sharing the similar shadings as the great boxer Mr. Mike Tyson. And for his Echo of Light skin, apparently it looks like Black Adam. You guys will be able to see more during the actual demo play. So this is currently the joke that the CN fans has been making about. And alright, let's get started. So this is a demo play version where they talk about the role reverse, you enjoy the benefits. So we are talking about a demon class Vargas versus a holy unit, the holy battle priest. So because of the role reverse ability, when demon class try to battle holy unit, they will enjoy a benefit of the 80% class advantage. And they are talking about this is when you go into battle, this is the attack the Dragon Slayers will receive. So this is original. Then after the 1.8 times, the additional 8 times the 80% damage increment, they're talking about sorry about that, I'm not great or good at the damage calculations. I never was. So any one of you pros out there, if you know or understand it, great for you. However, one thing we know that is the damage that they do in this picture here is 1087, and the damage that they do to the enemy's hero is 941. So you can see they're doing extra damage. And apparently they have this Langrisser damage battle calculations calculator. So they're talking about the class, the one highlight in red here is you enjoy the 80% class benefit, the heroes to soldiers and also heroes to heroes, both of which are 80%. They are keying the attack of Dragon Slayer is 1502. Then the left side is the attacking side. On the right is the defensive side, which is the enemy. So you can see the defense of enemy is 530. And after the calculations, this is the damage calculation that they provided from I'll go up to down, and from left side to right side. They are talking about soldiers whacking soldiers. The single stage attack damage is 265. Then soldiers whacking soldiers after crit damage is 344.5, and hero whacking soldiers, the damage is 1086.8, and hero whacking soldiers when crit happens is 1412.84. I don't see how this is 80%. I thought this seems like 40%. Correct me if I'm wrong. Then on the right side is soldiers attacking heroes. The damage is 410.5. Sorry, it's minus. Oh, I thought that's a dash, but apparently that's a minus 34.5. Then soldiers whacking heroes crit damage is minus 344.5. I'm not sure it should be a minus or dash. Then however, hero whacking hero single stage is 941.3, and when crit happen is 1223.69. Okay, this is more in-depth about the calculations. A lot of you probably are as confused as I am. If you don't quite get it, don't worry, you can fast forward this part. Let us just ignore about the calculation phase. We'll be talking more about how his buff and gimmick works. Okay, next we'll be talking about his talent and other effect. So after he went into his Fury mode, when enemies 3 blocks around him enter, they will go into battle, close combat battle with him, and cannot be got. So this is a following of how it's gonna be like when they enter. So you can look at this clip. So enemies enter, they go into battle, then and after battle you also get to self-heal because your HP is lower than enemies. And even though you die, you're gonna revive with your talent's ability. And not to mention, the great part is that when you go into this close combat, the enemies cannot be got. Even you have a tanker beside them, this talent ability ignore guard. And where else you will see in this part here, if your HP value is higher than the enemies, you get to attack first. The enemies can't do anything. So okay. So you see, we get to attack first. Even though the enemy didn't die, it's even better for you to see that the enemy looks like as if they lag in the picture there, in the clip. They just stand there and allow you to fully transit the whole team over to his face, attack him. Then after you fully retreat, then the enemy retaliate. By the time he's only left with the heroes alone. Then if your HP is lower, you recover after HP after battle. So it's gonna be pretty cool as long as like enemies is at 100% HP. As long as you're not at 100%, you're 99. You get to enjoy HP recovering after the battle based on 30% of the damage that you do to enemy. So it's pretty cool. Then on 3C ability, when you are not under your furious state, you got to choose a location to release the skills. Then afterwards you're able to act again. Then the number of blocks you can move is based on your remaining mobility, so it's not a high tier act again effect. Then at the start of the next turn, you automatically release your 3C AoE ability. So okay, we're gonna have a look at the effect here. So right now Dragon Slayer is casting his 3C, and okay, you can add again based on your remaining mobility. However, if you don't have any remaining mobility left, you just be stuck at the positions. Then the second part is at the start of next turn, when the second turn start, without the need of you controlling or casting the skills, the skill will just auto release. And enemies who dares to stand within the 3 blocks range around that casting point, they will take 0.3 times damage. Then next is if you're under the Furious States buff effect, you will straight away release your 3C effect, and afterwards you can trigger the AoE damage and also act again. However, the act again is still based on your remaining mobility. It's just that, however, if you already straight away start off with the Furious State mode, when you cast your 3C, you don't have to wait till the next turn. You just deal damage to enemies straight away and you can act again. The only great stuff is that if you can act again, you get to reduce the CD of your skills, or you can rewatch your skills ASAP. Then next, the one that I'm talking about, the great passive skills. When you receive fixed damage, you instead be healed. Okay, to enjoy this benefit, you got to first use and cast your 3C, the Sky Breaking Berserk Dragon, to cause it to change, to morph into the Demonic Fire domain, or the Hellfire's domain. So okay, so you got to morph and change into the second skills before you can enjoy this benefit. And afterwards, this is where all the goodies starts. So you can see the giant zombie golem unit deal the fixed damage against Vargas. However, he just turned up heal. So it's not you will take damage first and then you heal back the same damage. You basically do not get damage at all. You just straight off being healed. So this is a very nice skills. Few benefits. One, you will not die. In most cases, you will not die from fixed damage. Two, you will easily maintain a high HP threshold, higher HP than the enemy's HP percentage. This means that when you trigger going to battle with enemy, you will easily trigger attack first against the enemy in most cases, which is pretty good. A very great support to his whole ability. There has been very great synergy with it. Then next is after transforming the 3C to Hellfire's domain, if the enemies try to move out of the 3 blocks command aura range of Vargas, they will need to consume 1 additional mobility. So as you can see, this is what they've shown here. So the Battle Priest has a mobility of 3, so if he's staying within the 3 blocks command auras of LLR Vargas and he try to move out, as you can see, he can only move 2 blocks. Okay, he can only move 2 blocks because one of the block will consume an additional mobility. Alright, next is his support transformation skills, a 1C ability that will cause him to transform the Burning Soul Blood Rage. So once you use it, you will automatically be went into the Furious mode. Then you obtain attack intelligence and double defense stats increment of 20%, which will last for 2 turns. Then if you are already in Furious mode, when you use these skills, you will be able to move 3 blocks and attack again. So he kind of when the situation is right, he will have a double act again skills for himself. This is pretty cool. So as you can see, the first icon, the one in a ring of fire, kind of like the Lord of the Ring. Okay, it states 2 turns Furious mode. When you receive death blow damage, you will not die. And this effect will reduce by 1 turn. So meaning you can only receive death blow for 2 times. Afterwards, if you receive the 3rd time, you will definitely die. And afterwards, you will recover HP based on before you take the damage. And they also state enemies 3 blocks around your range, when they enter, they will receive a close combat battle attack from Vargas that cannot be got and cannot be dispelled, this effect. Then as you can see, he also have second icon, this is revival effect. He can revive once, probably from his passive. Then third, fourth and fifth is his own single target faction buff ability or self-buffing skills. Okay, and that's it for his effects and abilities. Pretty straightforward. It sounds long and lengthy, but it's straightforward and much easier to understand compared to the previous two banner. And then this is some of the abilities for Vargas or Dragon Slayers. So to unlock all his bond, it's pretty cool. He do not need anyone else to unlock his bond. All you need to do is okay, this is criteria. All you need to do is either clear Time Reef and unlock both of his class, and that's it. That's pretty cool. Then this is all the ingredients, items you need for unlocking his level 1 to level 10 casting or runes emblem ability. And this is his stats. So in case you're wondering, there's a flyer and his demon class. So apparently demon class in my opinion will be better because it enjoy higher HP threshold and higher defense. However, the fire class have their own benefits too. Though lower in HP and lower in defense, the fire class enjoy higher magic defense and higher skills. This means that you have higher chance to do crit damage against enemy. So in this case, we can see LLR Vargas will only enjoy two types of benefit. If you are in demon class, you will have class advantage against holy class, whereas if you are in flyer class, you have class advantage against archer, which lesser players definitely will be picking flyer class, I guess, because not a lot of enemies we face are archer. So I guess in more, or if not most generic battle, you might be picking demon class. However, I gotta say, fire class will enjoy a more further vast range of equipments built than the demon class. And also mobility, as you can see, fire class allows him to move 5 blocks, whereas the demon class only 4 blocks. Though demon class ignores terrain, he will not be stuck by forest, desert. The downside is that fire class can fly, so they can move past air terrain. Then some additional effect they gave is for flyer class is able to wear heavy armory, so you can give them mirror armor, blood armor, etc. But of course, if you're going flyer, I guess you'll be wearing last right. Whereas for demon class, you can additionally be equipped with sword, dagger, hammer, and heavy armor. Okay, Heartborn. For the fire class at level 4, when you initiate attack and go into battle, the damage your unit receive reduced by 10%. At level 7, when battling with units that has debuff effect, damage you do will be increased by 10%. Demon class level 4, when unit HP is below 70%, when you go into battle, the damage you receive will be reduced by 10%. At level 7, when you initiate to attack unit with HP value same or higher than yourself, when you go into battle, increase your damage deal by 10%. And this is a list of skills you have. So the first two are 3C1 and 3C2, followed by his gut skills. The third is his 1C act against skills, transformation skills. And this is some of the old skills he had. And alright, we have come to the end. Now we'll go through the last suggested item builds for LLR Vargas. So alright, there you have it. We have a very unique double type of build up for LLR Vargas, the Dragon Slayers. On the left is the flyer class, so you can go with either Ragnarok or the stick that will deal fixed damage based on your defense, be it you attack enemy or when enemies attack you in close combat. Then okay, the usual build you guys should know. So as you can see, the demon class has a lesser range of variety of items to wear. So the one for fire class has a much more unique variety. Then last but not least, this is the enchantment suggested. It's either to go with full moon or breeze. So as you can see, both PvP and PvE are 5 or 6 star, the maximum stars. They're pretty cool. They're overpowered, and when you go into the transform state, the Dragon Fairy mode, DF mode, if your breeze trigger and your Ymir Hammer's effect ability trigger, they will not be gone after you enter, because as long as you're in the mode, all your buff turn count will not be reduced, which will be pretty cool. Whereas if you want to do a higher stats damage against enemies, full moon will be better. So that's it, we have come to the end. Thank you guys for watching, and if you have any questions, do leave it down in the comment sections below. And this is Kami. Thank you guys for giving your support and watching this video. Give it a like and subscribe, and thank you. Goodbye.